Hello, everyone. I'm your host, Isaac Mack. Welcome to the MCC podcast. Joining me today is none other than Australian Rugby Union star Digby Ioane. Digby began his career professionally back in 2007, but has also represented Australia as a schoolboy well before that. His career saw him travel interstate and also overseas, and we're privileged to have him on to discuss his journey as well as life today. So, Digby, welcome, and thanks so much for joining us, man.
No, thank you so much for having me, mate. You pronounced my surname correctly. A lot of them said Ione. I'm like, no, it's wrong, mate. But no, I'm happy to be here, mate.
Luckily for me, I've got a few Samoan friends, so
Okay.
they taught me good.
That's awesome.
So man, you're no stranger to overcoming, I suppose, obstacles or making adjustments in your life. What's 2020 been like for you?
2020, it's been pretty tough, like I think Corona has taught me a lot about myself. I think I actually just been doing a lot of research, knowing who I am as a person. But yeah, I think you just gotta, you can't change what's going on with Corona, but just enjoy life and just trying to adapt from it.
Yeah. Well, what do you think it's like? I know I was speaking to my wife the other day, and we've really, as much as it's been horrible for a lot of people, and it's caused some, I suppose, grief and harm for a lot of people. We feel blessed to be able to, we've been able to connect more. We've been able to gain a lot out of it, and like you said, also really connect with ourselves more. I mean, what do you think it's brought most out of you?
I think for me, it's just I'm spending more time with family. I'm massive. I'm very, very like real close with my brothers and sisters. But for me, just being away all my life, like 16 years away from home. I was in Melbourne actually, and the Corona hit, and I was just there because dad recently just passed away not long ago.
Oh, sorry.
Then
Yeah.
no, it's all good. It's life. And Corona hit, and I got to actually train my sisters in that time, and do a lot of research in what's my next chapter in life. So glad, it's not the best thing having the Corona, but for me, as I don't like seeing. For me, like I just don't like seeing people losing their job, and
Yeah.
a lot of people going through committing suicide, but they don't look at that kind of that stuff. I don't like seeing that stuff, but for me, it's just staying connected with family is the most important thing.
Awesome. So these younger sisters that you train?
Older sisters. I'm the youngest of 9.
Oh, okay. And they were
So
they were they were
uh,
um they're good students?
they're awesome. Well, I had one sister. She's the laziest. There's 4 girls. The laziest sister. Thought she's always asked me to train her, and I always knew her habit was, to lose weight. But for me, is once you lose weight, I don't want you to go back to that same person.
Yeah.
But I just had to see if she was willing to do it, and just one day I took her to my brother's place to get her skin folds, and she rushed in for 10 minutes, and then she came back in the car, and she was feeling sad. And I said, "What happened? You're right." She goes, "Oh, my skin folds only my weight. I only lost two and a half kilos in 2 months." And I was in shock. I was like, "Wow." And I know this. I know her trainer. But for me to see she was determined to lose that weight because she's been training for the last 2 months, and I saw that she was just real keen to lose weight. And I started. It was a Saturday, and I told her, you know what, Monday we start. And mate, took me through hell. And it was funny because she's been asking me to coach her, but I knew she wasn't ready. I knew she
Yeah.
was one of those trained, those girls. Just I'll lose weight now and then go back to the old person.
Yeah, yeah.
And
Short Short-term
Short.
thing.
Yeah. Then I got her on Monday. I told her I'm gonna. She was 100 and I think she was 125, and I
Right.
told her I will take 10 kilos off you a month, and she didn't believe me, and she didn't want to step on the treadmill. And I told her to run 2Ks, and she didn't want to do it. I said, at least just try it and see how
Yeah.
you go. And she tried it, and keep the story short, it wasn't easy, but she did reach her goal. She took 10 kilos. Now she's killing it. Yeah.
That's freaking
So
awesome. Brilliant. Good
yeah,
job.
but it was one of the. It was really funny because she's a massive. She's Christian.
Yep.
She's really into it, and I told her one time, like, she was going through the journey, and she still is going through the journey. I told
Well,
her, yeah, I told her, listen, if I was God, because you always preach the word, Jesus Christ, and you
yeah.
always talk about the Bible, I said, put it this way: if I was God, and you saying you believe in God, you know what I'll say to you? She goes, what? I said, so you believe in me, but you don't believe in yourself. So how does that work? And then she got the message. She goes, wow, that was pretty deep. So yeah,
Brilliant.
so she understood what I meant, and that's what that changed. It was just the eye opener. Like, a lot of people understand, preaching the word of the Bible, but
Yeah.
do you understand if you look at from a different angle? So
And how to actually practically apply it to your life.
yeah, so I always look. There's always hidden words, but you got to
Mm.
understand what you're going through, and that was pretty deep. Like, I do believe that. Like, I believe in God. So how can you believe in something that you don't believe in yourself? So it
Yeah.
doesn't help if you don't believe in yourself. So that means you don't worship a God that you don't consider. So
Spot on. Well, speaking of family, I did peep your Facebook a
okay,
little bit of stalking, and I
okay.
and I saw I think your son won best and fairest and
Oh,
received.
that's it's my
Was
nephew
that?
actually.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah,
I thought he
my
looked a little
nephew.
bit big for your son.
Yeah, no, he's 12, but
Oh, okay,
I
yeah,
take so he's 12. He's 12 years old. I look after all my nephews.
beautiful.
He's so I got there's 5 boys. One of my other brothers, he's got like 12 kids to 4 different girls. He's
Wow,
just he's just
it's a
crazy.
breeding machine.
Yeah, yeah. But all my nephews come. They always ask for help since I've been on the road of just playing rugby my whole life, and I was taking them under my wing, just trying to give them feedback, and
Right.
if they want it, like, I don't
Yeah,
go telling them what to do, but they always come to Uncle Diggers for help. But yeah, just trying to explain, nothing came easy to me.
yeah,
You have to earn it. So
yeah, awesome. And
trying to,
this kid got a scholarship too, didn't he?
yeah, he did. So I
That's
was
so good.
I was just so happy for him. He's put in the hard yards. I've been smashing him. His dad's really intense. Like, he's pretty hard. But I told my brother, take it easy on his name is Zeiss. You
Yeah,
don't want to you want to push him, but to an extent, don't make him don't push him that far that he's not gonna love the sport. So you just
yeah,
gotta have that balance. Don't be too strict. You gotta be a dad at the same time.
yeah, man. I used to coach kids in soccer and a little bit of rugby as well, and yeah,
Yeah.
I've seen some parents push it a little bit too
Yeah.
hard,
They
and
go a bit hard, and it leads to fear, and we don't want to spread the fear in our kids' lives, because it does
that's where it starts.
cause it causes a lot of problem, and
Yeah,
I think people don't understand that. Like, I think supporting your son and loving your child, they will appreciate that more.
mm.
Like, you just say, man, that was awesome game, son. Like, you play, just sending good messages
Yeah,
instead of trying to threaten your kid. I'm gonna give you a hiding when you get home. It's not ideal though. But I think just supporting and being there for your child, and you probably got kids, and you probably understand. I got 2 kids that live overseas, but
How
yeah,
old are
just
they?
One son is 2, and the other one is 11 months.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
I got a little 3-year-old.
Oh, the best age, huh?
Terrorizes the place.
That's awesome.
That's his bedtime now, so I'm always nervous at this time of night.
They got no, you know what? You know the best thing I love about that age is like they got no fear. That's so cool.
Nothing.
They just enjoy life. It's just awesome. You know, they can do whatever they want. So
And you learn so much. I mean, I said to even my parents, I've learned so much more just watching my son, because there's, like you just said, no fear. There's no
yeah,
limitations. He'll
yeah,
climb up a couch, fall sometimes on his face, uh,
yeah.
get up, have a little cry, go do it again.
Do it again. But
And
that's what life is. You know, you
yeah,
teach yourself.
yeah,
And yeah, then you sort of, it's weird how you grow up, then you go into a system where you listen too much, and
yeah,
then you create this fear that it's just a illusion, that where did this come from, you know? But we should be preaching the word faith in your child, like just positive
100%,
vibes. That
100%.
yeah, I think I think my nephew, he's older than me 2 years. I've seen the way he's raised his child, and he always rewards his kids. When he cries for like toys, he doesn't like show them fear. He doesn't get angry at them.
Oh,
Like
give
he
it.
doesn't. He just says, "Listen, if you want this, if you want this, show me. You know, you got to do something good to earn it."
So
So
rewards them.
it was them, and it was
Yeah,
awesome because he
that's
doesn't.
awesome.
It's like a habit you try and teach your son, and once they get older, it relates to school, relates to sports. You know, you don't show them fear that creates like doubt,
Mm,
and just that fear of not achieving it.
yeah,
So I thought it was awesome. Like I said, man, that's
that's
pretty
brilliant.
cool. Yeah,
An old mentor of mine used to have, and I think I'll apply this to my son and maybe future kids. Uh, See how we go. But he had like a actual. I went to his house once, and he had this thing on his fridge, and it was these stars, and it was like a reward system. And I said, hey, Warwick, what's this? And he goes, oh, that's just a reward system for the kids. I go,
yeah,
and there was like about 25 stars on each. He had 3 kids,
yeah.
and once they got to the top, they got a reward. Like for his son, it was a new
Oh
bike, all
man,
this sort of stuff. And
that's
then
that's awesome.
you look at the jobs, and it was a lot of house chores,
Yeah,
certain things at school, all that stuff. I was like, that's phenomenal. So,
yeah,
and I met his kids, spent a lot of time with them because one of them played soccer,
yeah.
one of the teams, and my goodness, they were motivated kids.
That's awesome. That's
Yeah,
that's the habit we should be teaching, the kids.
100%.
Not just trying, especially Islanders, like my background, Samoan specific, and we show a lot of fear of, we do make mistakes, but at least trying to explain to them what did they do wrong.
Yeah,
Don't just beat them up for no reason, but they don't know what they did wrong. So
not much
it's,
different to my culture, bro.
yeah, I did. Yeah, well, I was mummy's boy, so I got away from a lot of things. But I was always the youngest, so
Oh
yeah, I
yeah,
was spoiled. So
yeah, of course.
uh,
That's normal for the youngest. But so, if you don't mind, like, tell us a little bit about your journey. I know you're born in Wellington, yeah? Is that
yeah,
right?
I was born in Wellington.
Came to Australia, you
There's
were 2?
when I was 1, so
1.
I moved.
Okay.
Yeah, so I moved over '86. Went straight to Melbourne.
Okay.
And yeah, there's 9 of us. I'm the youngest of 9. I grew up in a place called Noble Park. That's around Dandenong area,
Yeah, I know that.
and
I
awesome
spent I
place.
spent about 3 years living in Melbourne.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Right. I love Melbourne, but the
Still
weather
feel it.
got me.
Still feel the cold.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I moved up when I was 16, got a scholarship to come up, and yeah, just because as you know, Melbourne's just AFL.
Yeah.
At my like this they just love AFL and they love soccer.
They
And
worship.
I got approached. Yeah, I got approached from a union school and got up here. I was homesick for a couple of months, but I couldn't go back to Melbourne. I was 16. I couldn't go back to Melbourne because I knew I was in love with the sport called rugby union, and
Yeah.
I just wanted to just play with the best and to see where where rugby will take me.
Yeah.
But not saying was rugby. I think the best advice my parents gave me was, I knew I was going overseas, but I had to get connected with my family. I had to say my prayers every night, and it was crazy. If I wanted, if I
That's
was,
what made you feel
that's
connected.
that's what I was connected. So
Yeah.
without, I think, I know, like my mum and dad, to, even though you're in a tough time, that's the struggle I lived with, was living away from family. That's what I call struggle.
Yeah.
But no, so I moved in with a family, with my coach's ex-wife, because I wasn't a boarding school. I would cry every night. But yeah, mum told me, anytime I was feeling I just feeling down, just always pray to the man upstairs. And if I did achieve something, give thanks,
Yeah.
And yeah, one thing led to the other. Like, I was asking God, I want to make this team, and then I actually make it, and then I said thank you. And then I want to make this other team, I'll make it, I'll say thank you. And it's just been like that ever since.
Really?
Yeah,
No, it hasn't changed.
it hasn't changed. And I still, like, I wasn't, I wouldn't say I was the biggest believer, because I only got really connected when I left home when I was
Yeah.
16,
Yeah.
because dad would always say the family prayer, and it was every night.
Yeah.
And we'll sit there, and every Sunday, geez, the guy would threaten us to go to church. If you didn't go to church, mate, you get a smack or something.
Yeah.
Something's coming. And then I knew I got to I got to double my clothes so I wouldn't feel the pain.
That's great.
Yeah, but it's weird as life, every year goes on, you start to understand who you believe. So
Yeah.
it's how it started. It's a funny journey, but it's worth it.
So I know you said before you were the youngest and probably the most spoiled, but other than that, what did you take most from your parents growing up?
I think the understanding of respecting your oldest. I think
Good.
just being humble. I wouldn't say we were the richest family,
Yep.
but we weren't that rich. But rich for me was just family, like
Mm.
being surrounded by my brothers and my sisters and just cousins. That was rich to me. Like, I just felt like I had the best time of my life, and just understanding the little things, like just understand how grateful to be alive. Like, every morning,
Yeah.
give thanks. And as you do get older, you just start learning a bit about yourself and understand what your dad's gone through,
Mm.
and your mum. So
Mm.
I'm always grateful. Like, now I'm always like supporting, or always put my family first, no matter what.
Yeah.
I do believe that as Islanders, when you think about Islanders and you think about their culture, you think, oh, geez, man, you live that amazing life. You give everything to your family. You give all your money. But to me, that's not the case.
Yeah.
I believe that it's your parents that teach you so much how to love and respect, that, you do come across some Islanders. I'm not trying to say I've got the best family, perfect family,
Mm.
but I think people get that wrong, where Samoan families, which I'm Samoan myself, like, you have the right to give all your money to your mum and dad. I believe that's the wrong case. I
Yeah.
believe that's not right. That's how you not treat your kids.
Mm.
But I give what I can. So if my cup is full and it's overflowing, you give. If
Yeah.
it's like if I say it's 50% and you're trying to give, what's the point then? Like, you lose out.
You're not looking
So
after yourself. Yeah.
you're not looking after yourself. So I give what I can, and I do believe that, because that mum and dad, like, taught me at a when I was a child. How to respect people,
Mm.
be kind to people. Good karma will come back to you. So
Yeah.
I believe in that. So yeah,
Awesome.
Dad taught me a lot.
Well, let's talk a little bit about like your career, about starting very young. So, did you play rugby league and union when you
I
were?
played, yeah. So I played both. I played union on a Saturday and then
Oh,
play league on a Sunday.
okay.
I prefer league.
Did
So
you?
yeah, I love league, but it was
Yeah.
just weird because I went to a union school and I thought it was a league school as well.
Oh,
So
right.
yeah, it ended up being a union school, but I didn't mind whatever was good for me. I love both sport. But yeah, I just happened to be real good at the sport that I love playing, and I
Mm.
just went from one thing to another, and just had goals by making
Like the rep teams.
the rep team. So making the first 15 for school,
Yep.
and then I made that. Then you start having goals by how do you make Queensland schoolboys, then your
Yeah.
mates will tell you you got to make the GPS school the 1 or 2, and that will lead you to the Queensland.
Okay.
Then there was teams like schoolboys, Australian schoolboys. So I want to make that. So each goals I had, once I accomplish one, I want to make the next. So I did have goals just for that moment until
Yeah.
I made it, and then I'll look what's next. So it wasn't like I want to play for Australia. I always was an All Blacks fan. I
Ah.
was never a Wallaby fan
Yep.
until I started making like teams until I hit under 21s,
Yeah.
and
Right.
then and that became realistic. I said, "Shit, I think I'm that good enough to make Australia." So yeah, it came reality, and Eddie Jones picked me up from under 21s. Have
Yes.
not haven't played
I remember that. Yeah.
I haven't played no Super Rugby like Super 12 or anything. Just got me from 21s, and I was just playing club footy. This team I'm playing at the moment, Sunnybank,
Yep.
just picked me up, and I was like 19 or 20. Told me you're coming on spring tour, so I was
Wow.
just a kid, like a young teenager, just loving what I do. So
Yeah. Wow. That's really interesting to hear because you hear about success stories, especially in sport. A lot of
yeah,
people say, "Oh, when I was 5 years old, 6 years old, I was sitting
yeah.
there dreaming about being a Wallaby or an All Black or a."
Nah, it
You know,
was yeah. I was different. I was living in
yeah.
Australia, but I loved All Blacks, and
Yeah.
it's just weird for me. Like just watching as you get older and you make all these rep teams, then you start meeting players. Like for me, I met Tikiri, a lot of Tikiri, and
Yeah.
Wendell Sailor,
Yeah.
and I'm like, geez, I used to watch these guys in Melbourne when I was a kid. They were like my heroes. And I just said, I just want to be Lottie Tikiri. That was it. But I wasn't looking at what team he made. I just wanted to be him. So
Yeah.
it was awesome meeting them though. But
Yeah.
when we when I went on the spring tour, they smashed me like everything. Because
Really.
I was like a threat. So
Oh.
I didn't realize because everyone's fighting for their spot. But I didn't understand that because I was just
You
happy to be there. I was just happy
you're
to
just
be
enjoying
there.
yourself. Yeah.
I was just enjoying myself, but I didn't realize like, I'm the younger guy coming through, but I was a threat. I didn't understand that, but I think, it's good because I'm pushing them as well. I think it was a competition, but
Yeah.
if you want to play at that level, you're pushing, like everyone's pushing for a spot. So, and that's
Yeah.
normal, I
Yeah.
understand that, but they were like my heroes at the same time. So
It's really no different in the corporate world. I think that's just life, isn't it?
yeah.
Yeah, it's funny when you go to a new business or a new thing, you're happy to be there. You go, I'm really happy to be here, and then everyone's looking at you with, what are you doing?
Everyone's yeah, everyone's looking at you, but
Yeah,
for I think for me it was just you want to play with the best.
yeah,
You have your
definitely.
teammates, but you're just competing against yourself, and those guys are pushing you. So
Mm,
I didn't look at them; they were hating or whatever. I didn't look at like that. It was good to be surrounded with guys that were pushing for that spot, and
Yeah.
that brought the best out of me. So
Iron sharpens iron, as they say.
yeah, yeah,
Um, I want to ask you about something like you would have played with probably a lot of talented people, growing up,
yeah,
schoolboys and everything like that. And what I want to talk about is a lot of these talented guys probably didn't make it, if that
yeah.
makes sense. Um, I want to ask you, why do you think the people that came with great talent but never actually went through? Did you experience that? Did you experience people
I
as talented
seen,
or even more talented than you? And
yeah. I just thought there's a lot of talented people, like a lot of I think guys around my age, younger guys, and
hmm,
I just see them waste it. I believe
how?
everyone believes talent is everything. I don't believe talent is everything. It catches up. I think hard work is everything.
Yeah,
You know, you gotta do what you hate doing to become that better version of yourself. And yeah, just one thing. Once you think you're the man with your talent, because you're ahead of everyone,
hmm,
I believe everyone will catch up at a certain stage where hard work takes over.
agree. Uh,
Yeah.
a lot of people who are listening to this podcast probably wouldn't know who Kieran Perkins is. You know Kieran Perkins? He was
Now
a
I'm bad. I'm bad with names. So
he,
bad with
he
names.
was an Aussie swimmer. He's the 1500 meter
Okay. Yep.
swimmer. He held records, and he won Sydney Olympics. He won Barcelona.
Okay.
So I'm showing my age here, but the reason why I never forget him because I actually met him.
Okay.
So he was an Olympic athlete, gold medalist in the 1500. Probably one of the most grueling.
I know
You
Michael
know,
Klim.
yeah, yeah. So, so the version of him, but swims long distance. But I
Okay.
remember him saying because he had an amazing story. He, as a, I think 8 or 9 year old, he had an accident and he smashed through glass, like, and
Oh wow.
he had glass in his body and everything like that. And the doctors and the physicians told him to swim, to get his muscles working again. And
Yep.
that's how he actually got into swimming.
Oh
But
jeez.
yeah, and but when I met him, I was so privileged because at the time he'd won the gold medal.
Yep.
It was through a company I was working for at the time, and
Yep.
I spent a bit of time with him. And he actually said that to me. He said that he'd actually grown up with people that had much better technique, much better
Yep.
talented swimmers than he was. He said,
Yeah.
and he said I just saw them drop off year after year. And he said, and no one swam and no one worked harder than me.
Yeah.
He said, that's
Hundred.
what I read.
100%.
You can relate to that.
My 100%. I was more I tell my older brother, he was an amazing player, and I used to go for runs with him when I was 10 years old,
Hmm.
and and then we would do 10 laps around the AFL field, and that would take ages, and I only could do 5, and he taught me this technique as breathing in your nose and out through your mouth, and I
Okay.
got the hang of it, and I still do it till now, but I still do it. I got worse knees, but it was a habit where I became the fittest. I was like the fittest guy. They couldn't believe when I went to just through the stages of like schoolboys
Yep.
and going to the academy and to the Wallaby. I've had that fitness level till I was like a kid, and I started like 10 years old, but I carried that on till this day. Where if anyone would say to me, "How do you describe Digby?" They'll say fitness freak.
Oh, right.
But that was part of my game, and just I'll never give in. It was just that amazing energy. I can go for ages.
And it's interesting your brother taught you that.
Yeah, but it was weird because I idolized my brother, my older brother.
Yeah,
I
that's natural.
he was the best player, and he did some things earlier in his days. He was the best winger I've seen, but he just went through the wrong pathway where drinking, had
Yep.
kids at it early, took weed, but he took me as a little brother. Like he threatened me with drugs. Like he was doing it. He was doing drugs at that time, but he would always tell me, if I ever see you do this, I would kill you. Like he was, and that was the fear that I lived with.
Yeah.
And to this day, I still don't. I say no to drugs.
Yeah. Cool.
And because if it wasn't for my brother, if my brother wasn't around, I wouldn't. I think I wouldn't. I'll be doing all these things to understand, because I believe you got to go through the experience to understand what it does to you. But I saw at an early age what it did
What it did.
to him, and that's how I've been. See, I favor his kids, and I've looked after them. And one of them is like amazing player. I took him under my wing. It's Italy, and he's just waiting to get called up to play for Italy. So I'm like,
Wow.
it's just good. Whatever he's done to me, I give back in a way. So
that's awesome. So what about sacrifices? What do you think were the biggest sacrifices?
my sacrifice was family.
Was the family? Yeah. Nothing
Yeah,
more.
struggle, family. Yeah, that's wasn't money or anything. Family was massive to me.
Just
Moving
spending time
away.
away.
Yeah, felt like moving away at an early age, even just knowing I was leaving to Paris. I left to Paris 2013. I struggled big time.
Really?
Yeah. So family for me is sacrifice. Yeah, and then the struggle.
Yeah. Right. Okay. And what's the biggest obstacles you've overcome aside from your family? Like, was it like I read that you had a few injuries throughout your career?
Yep.
What was that like? Was it hard mentally?
Um, so for me, it was family always had my back,
Yeah.
always supported me. Um, I have an older sister. She's 57. So I was
Well,
pretty much, she's 57. I was pretty much a mistake. I'm 35. So she pretty much raised me as a child coming
yeah.
through so I call her my soulmate, but she helped me through my career. She was the one that'll make a phone call. If dad wasn't there, I'll make a phone call to my older sister, and she'll support me through, because you do go through times where, especially injuries. I've had 16 surgeries on my body.
Yeah.
And could you imagine trying to get back where you left?
Every time.
So my first injury was my knees. My knees always gave way, and I always became better. Like, I found a way how to overcome that injury, and then it was my shoulders. I had three recons,
Yeah.
and that was the toughest one with my recons, because I did it. Did my first recon, and it was keyholes, and then I did it again 8 months after. But it was going through surgery. I knew it was going to be okay, but doing the same thing again, that was the toughest. That was the toughest.
Did that damage your confidence?
No, it didn't damage my confidence. It was just doing all over it again, like doing the rehab.
Yeah.
And what got me through it was the Bible and mum.
Yeah, right.
So pretty much, that sums it up. So, but it's weird, because I believe if you love something so much and have passion for it, 100% you'll get back to it. Yeah. It's just the law.
Yeah.
If you love something so much, you have passion, you'll get back to it, no matter what.
And what about handling the media throughout your career?
Honestly, I didn't like the media. Instagram sort of came through 2010 or 11, I think. 2010, that's when that came. I liked it when I was around 2005. You only read stuff on paper, and that was all good. I was sweet. But then when social media came, I know there's a guy that got me hooked onto it. Was named Quad Cooper. Loves social. He loves social media. But he signed me up with Twitter, Facebook, pretty much Facebook or whatever, and Instagram. I was new to Instagram. He was showing me the ins and outs.
Oh.
Sorry, mate.
Right. Yep.
He showed me the ins and outs, and but what I learned about social media, you can't take social media too serious. You do you put a lot of pressure on yourself. Like you do find people writing, ugly things about your game or about you.
Yeah.
But what mum told me is, listen, son, there's hundreds of people saying how a great game you played, and you're gonna reply to one or two people. What are you doing? And then I sort of said, hey, you do have a point. He said, are you gonna let that one person reply to that one person and ruin your day? And you got so many people worshiping you,
giving you love.
Yeah. So don't even reply. So that sort of changed the way that I think about social media. So I don't really pay attention to it.
That's such good advice. Advice I had to personally give myself, like listen to my wife about
Yeah.
that, because I remember, when I'd post things that I was passionate about, and you get the odd hater or someone to debate you. It's so tempting. It's so tempting to go, and just
it's life though. Life. What we live in now. I believe we live in a life with hate. There's gonna be haters. But who are they to judge you as your journey? It's your own journey. So no one can't be in your shoes.
Yeah.
Like you're that person that you love. You're trying to help someone. So unless you're judging someone, at least help them or something.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Did the media ever get, aside from social media, like the media, I suppose the ones that stick the microphone in your face and all that stuff? Was that all good? Like, did that ever get a bit too much?
Yeah, it did get too much. I think,
Yeah.
mate, I know a lot of players. I won't name them. I know a lot of people love that, but for me personally, I don't really like it. Like, I just back then I let the action do the talking. I let them write whatever. But for me, it was just to deal with social, like just Instagram, how people write all nasty stuff.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, who are they to judge? Like I do me. So
Yeah. No, fair enough. All right. So, a lot of this, a lot of our audience is the youth through our church and everything like that. So I'd like you to speak to maybe, the kids coming up these days. So kids who want to be successful, be that at sport, whatever career they choose. I suppose, what advice would you have for them? But what do you, and I want to be a bit more specific, what do you think kids need to do more of and less of to separate themselves from and become a standout, if you know what I mean?
I think knowledge. I think understand there's no limits of learning, but understand what do you really love doing. You gotta, it could be sport or whatever, but trying to understand who you are as a person and find what triggers you, what you love doing. Like for me, my passion was just rugby, full stop. But I never looked, I want to play for Australia. That was never, like I
Yeah,
always
very
want.
interesting. So you were always about living in the moment, I suppose, and going that next step. What's the
Yeah,
next step?
I took it step by step.
Mm.
Like if you were to tell me back then what was success, I wouldn't know how to explain it to you.
Yeah.
But now I did a lot of research, and as I got older, I understand. So at the end of the day, I was just trying to be the best player in every age group, like just trying to go to the next level. So I've made Queensland. I was asking questions. How do I make this team? Like, how do you make Australia schoolboys? So I go, oh, okay. So you're gonna make Jeep's team, make Queensland schoolboys, make Australia. Then I'll think, so how do you make under 19s? Well, you gotta play good for for the academy or your club, and you get seen. And that's where I set myself goals, where I try to just be the best player I can be.
That's awesome.
But that's in anything, I guess. Like whatever you want to do in life, like you want to be the best real estate. I think it's the same strategy, but just in a different, just in a different area. Like me, but for myself now, like I'm looking at going overseas and helping, helping people, and I'm using the same strategy what I'm trying to do now. So my mum's got land in Samoa. It's 123 acres, but
Wow.
I'm trying to build. I'm trying to change the village into a town and provide schools and
I love it.
and uh, solar power. But to do that, I'm using the drive like making Australia. It's gonna have ups and downs, but that's only you if you want it or not. That's my drive. So that's how I'm just doing the same strategy in Union, but in something different. So
Wow. So that's your next project.
that's my next project. I'm just stuck here. I can't go nowhere.
So you'd be over there now, is that right? Or
So so I would go there if I can, but
good.
I'm just in I came to do some work experience up in Brisbane,
Hmm.
but I couldn't go back to Melbourne with Corona, or I
Yeah.
couldn't even go over to Samoa. But I'm glad I'm here because I'm just doing my normal routines. Like I'm just training. I've been going to different schools, helping, just coaching, but it's all for free. Like I just do it to keep
Yeah.
myself busy.
Yeah.
So
That's awesome.
and just even going to the local clubs, just helping them out. That for me to see someone grow, I see that's success, and that makes me happy.
Yeah, that's awesome. Um, who are the biggest influences in your life, like personally and professionally?
My dad,
Personally,
my
yeah.
dad,
Why?
and just everything. When he passed away, I didn't want to understand. I thought I knew who he was,
Yeah.
like fully, but I've been away for so long. And at his funeral, mate, there was like 300 or 400 people turned up to his funeral, and
Wow.
they had a testimony. And as they were speaking, I couldn't believe. I thought I knew him, but mate, I was
Wow.
blown away. I was just blown away. And I try to, for me, I trying to run away from the Samoan way. Like I didn't want to understand it,
Yeah.
but since he's been away, like he's passed away, I've learned so much. Now I just want to be the better version what he was. So what he did in his life, in his pastime, he was doing the same thing, helping out back in Samoa, which I want to do that,
Yeah.
but just do it
Great.
better. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
No, that's awesome.
he'll be my hero.
What about
And my
professionally?
professionally, I don't know. Um,
Was it a coach or was it a
I've
player?
had I've had a lot of coaches like Eddie Jones,
Hmm.
especially Robbie Deans.
Yep.
I think I have to give credit to my older sister. She was just professional at everything.
Yeah.
She she's like Robbie. There's a guy named Robbie Deans, and we'll
Yeah.
talk about. It was my coach and everything. All he wanted me to do was just play rugby and leave everything like my bills or whatever I had on the side, leave it to my mum. But my mum wasn't really doing that. She was my number one supporter. Like I will turn to her because you do feel the pressure as you're playing. Everyone's looking at you, and you always got to ask questions. Like, am I playing at the best I can? I'll get man of the match one game. After the game, I'll be crying to my sister, and I'll ask her, "Did I play well?" Because you just got man of the match, and I'm telling you, and I'll call her mum. Did I play well? She goes, "Son, you played well," and then it was sweet. I
Yeah.
just had to
Nice.
hear.
You
I
just had
just
to hear
had to.
that.
I just had to hear it from her, and then I didn't have to hear it from anyone else but her. But
Interesting.
she was so professional what she did.
Yeah.
Like she was a smart one. She put all my money into properties. All I wanted to do was just drive fast cars, and she was the one was like yes or no. If I
Yeah.
wanted, I had to ask permission. So she did that at a level that I didn't understand, but
Wow.
she stuck to it, and she was the one. She was my go-to. So everything goes to her, and I
Mm.
can't give any more thanks with the physios. The physios. Oh, there's a guy named Jeff Clark. Because I told you my injuries.
Yeah.
Without him, I wouldn't be that person that played to this day. Yeah.
Where's he based?
So he's based in Brisbane.
Oh yeah.
He's like a famous. everyone loves him. Like he's
That's not the guy they call Mr. Fix-It.
Mr. Fick. Oh, they call him Thumbs.
Okay.
They call him Thumbs. Thumbs. Mate, his
That's,
thumbs are intense, but I
that's
couldn't say
great.
he's Mr. But everyone loves him, but I own that guy in my life because
Yeah.
without him, I think I would still have a bug knee or a dodgy shoulders. But yeah,
Well, I think you've given some great insight in terms of your personal life, because kids that are obviously wanting to get into, professional rugby or any form of sport
yeah,
or be a superstar, I'm gathering from everything that you've told us, being tight with your family was, I think that separated you from a lot of people that go off the rails,
yeah,
and aren't grounded and don't
yeah,
have a long sustainable career. I think that's
yeah.
I think a lot of people will get that.
I think you just gotta. I think you just gotta understand who you are as a person. Like
Yeah,
you gotta find what do you want. A lot of people pretend to be who they're not. Like they think they're someone, but they're not.
yeah,
But for me, no, you just got to figure out who you are. If you, just an example, if you surrounded yourself with a bunch of drinkers, like people that drink and take drugs, and you don't take it, then you know who you are already because you don't surround yourself.
that's
So
good.
that's the things I look at, like trying to figure out who you are as a person and what do you love doing.
Mm.
And yeah, and for me, it's just I just want to be happy and just enjoy life. I don't like this corona, as you said before. What do you think about this corona? Well, you can't control the corona, but you can adapt from it. It's like me staying in Melbourne. Like we can't control the season, you can't control the winter,
No,
but we can
exactly.
adapt. So what I did, I ran away to Brisbane to stay here because it's hot. But do you get
Yeah,
what I mean? You
yeah,
can't control the weather in Melbourne, but what you could do is go somewhere else. So that's how I look at it. I look at life like that. We can't control Corona, but we can adapt from it. What can you do to keep
absolutely.
yourself busy?
Yeah, 100%. Well, speaking of keeping yourself busy, I mean, it sounds like you are someone that's always kept yourself busy,
Yeah.
but what I think habits do you think served you best? So I know
Uh,
about the breathing technique, but what
yeah.
about like getting up in the morning, all that stuff? What are your main habits that are just your rituals?
I say my prayers every morning,
Okay.
even at night, and even
Okay.
just every morning I gotta do training. And if I want to, honestly, if I want to become the best, for example, rugby, I'm
Mm.
always asking questions.
Yeah.
I go out of my way if I want to look for the best coach to teach me how to pass a ball. I will go to him. Tell me, how do you do this? And I think it's related in business. If you're gonna
100%.
if you're gonna start a business, you gotta go to that person, do your research on that person. What has he done in his past? What
Yeah.
has he achieved? And you gotta understand. So he's done that. So I want to ask questions. So
Yeah.
that's what I learned in rugby as well. I'm always that person. No, there's no question is stupid.
Yeah.
It's just if you want something so bad, you gotta ask questions.
Yeah.
And to become the best, you gotta ask. And how do you do it?
Oh, brilliant. That's great. Tell me, if you could have a cup of coffee with anybody,
Yeah.
either in the present or even history figures, who would it be, do you think?
Um, After watching Michael Jordan's episodes, mate, I'll probably be Michael Jordan.
MJ? Yeah.
MJ. I thought I saw some crazy people, but he took it to the next level. That was
Yeah.
unbelievable. You know what I didn't get? I didn't understand. I didn't understand. Did you see how he was smoking cigar?
Mm.
And he's like got finals coming up. And I'm thinking,
Yeah.
geez, he must have done that so many times.
Yeah.
He knows his body.
Mm.
Because I had like during my preparation start on a Monday, if I had the perfect game, I would do the same thing
Mm. Not
during the
change.
week. I
Yeah.
won't change it. But if I played bad, I'll ask questions and try to figure out where did I go wrong? So
Yeah.
you go during the week trying to understand. Like I wouldn't have sex after Wednesday. Stuff like that.
Yeah.
But to see Michael Jordan do that, having a beer, having a cigar, you ask questions. He goes, mate, this guy is the ultimate. Like he's playing his best game, but also having a cigar. Like I don't understand. So he must have done it so many times. He was just, that was his habit. He had to smoke a cigar, and people wouldn't understand.
But it's just, I suppose it goes back down to his rituals, his training. He just done it so much that it was just habit.
Even Dennis Rodman.
Yeah.
Party animal, but the fittest guy. Even Jordan said he was the fittest guy. That's where this guy is a freak.
Well, there's I love my martial arts, for example, and if you look at the UFC, John Jones, you hear about his escapades and renegades, doing all sorts of long nighters and even drugs and that, and he goes out there and defends his championship. It's mental.
It's mind blowing.
Yeah.
And people ask questions. You could have all the gears or whatever to get you there, but it's you as a person. You're the one that has to do it. So
yeah.
And people won't understand your journey because they've never been in their situation. So
how's Mr. Ioane different from who you were 10 years ago?
A lot smarter, wiser. I figure out drinking was my biggest enemy. I wasn't a big drinker, but I feel like I'm the better version as I experience things in the past.
Yeah.
You wanna grow, not just stay and just be comfortable. I can't sit comfortable. You want to do things, and especially having these my two sons, I want to do things to let them understand I'm not just a rugby player, but I can achieve other things out of than just rugby. So this is how I got started with the land, changing it into a town, and showing them whatever I did in my time, you also can do that. Do the same thing what I did, and you got to earn that. Like the skies is no limits. I believe knowledge is power. Like you just gotta learn every day. Try and change things. In what you do. During the day, like whatever reading. I started reading. I hate reading, but I started reading, and I just want to learn. I think learn and just enjoy life.
Awesome, brother. We've got to wrap it up. I've really enjoyed having you on, and I really appreciate you giving us insight to, I suppose, your life.
Anytime, right?
But I want to ask you a question that I like to ask all the guests, who we had on our show. If you could rewind the clock and go back in time, or go get in a time machine, and go visit your 18-year-old self, what advice would you have for that fellow?
You know what? Hey, that's a little one, eh?
18-year-old Digby Ioane, what would you?
I would, honestly, what I've experienced, I wouldn't change, but I would say, you got to balance what you want in life. Like I should have paid more attention in school.
Okay.
Yeah. Like whatever. For me, rugby was everything. But if I was to change it, I should have balanced it and paid more attention into schoolwork as well. Just trying to learn. Because for me now, it's just me like reading books and stuff. I'm like, well, where have I been? I should have done this long time ago. You know what I mean?
That's
just
right.
trying to figure out, trying to figure out who you are. But the more I read, it makes sense.
Well, you've done exceptionally well, my friend. So hats off to you.
Cheers, man.
Last thing I'll ask you before we let you go. Once life's back to normal, or what we know of, life being back to normal, what's the first thing you want to do?
Go straight to Samoa.
Yeah.
Yeah. Enjoy the island life.
And is it going to be all for the community, or are you going to have any
Oh,
people for
it's
the
for
tourists,
the
or?
so it's a plantation. So it's just trying to help the Samoa economy,
Yeah, great.
and trying to set just contracts with the plantation from all the farmers in Samoa and bring to Australia.
Yeah,
So that's my major goal. But anything I make, it goes straight to the land where it's a non-profit.
yeah,
So
awesome. Well, God bless you, brother. That's awesome you're doing that.
thanks, mate.
All
Cheers,
right.
mate. Awesome, man.
Well, thanks so much for your time, man, and yeah, all the best for the rest of the year.
Yeah, take care, champion.
You too, bro. See
See
ya.
you, mate.
Bye.